What's happening, LightSaber Radio family? We are back to talk about episode 6 of Ahsoka. And this was a fucking mixed bag of dog shit. No, I'm just playing with y'all. No.
It was a mixed bag. I wouldn't say
it was definitely
it's all
a mixed
dog
bag.
Shit, but it was a mixed bag.
But let's jump on and we'll drop the intro and then we'll jump right into it because Garrison got to get up here. He got to study tonight. He got class. he got schoolwork to do.
Goddamn university.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Last we will reveal ourselves.
I have a bad feeling about this.
You are now if you only knew the power of dark.
Here it comes. Let's go.
You are now LightSaber Radio. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello there.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. Star Wars team leaders in the chat. We got Nielsen in the chat. How's it going, guys? So, let's just start off with the bad. Just right off the bat. Let's get the bad out of the way.
God damn.
This was the fucking most boringest fucking episode like fucking ever. Like, okay, don't get me wrong. I like the episode.
I liked it. It was split. It was like half of it, way good. Half of it, fucking loved it. Like, literally loved it. The other half, goddamn, kill me now. Like, oh my gosh. Cheesy and boring and stupid.
Yeah, it was. Like the dialogue was the best out of every episode that there's been. The dialogue was phenomenal.
I would agree.
The Thrawn dialogue, the dialogue with the Nightsisters, even though they didn't say too much, it just the way it was all projected and performed.
Yeah, I've been dragging on the dialogue of this show, and this had some good dialogue. This was better.
The dialogue was excellent. The overall storyline of where it's going was fresh and new, and it was something that we had never seen before. What's going on, Chris?
Yep.
And that made it really good.
Writing, yeah. We weren't coasting off of previous Clone Wars or Rebels. It was fresh. It was new. So I did like that. And
I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed, like, even though some of the characters were like straight stolen, I like the characters. I like the character interaction. The only problems that I really had and was the CGI with the dog thing, the fucking wolf that shit was fucking garbage. Like, even my dog, we're sitting on the couch. My dog is sitting next to me on the couch. This motherfucker started whining, looking at me like, what the fuck is that? Like, that's just not moving right. That's not, like, real. And I'm just looking like, holy shit, even a dog noticed how bad this shit is. That shit was just was way wonky movie. It was almost like I was watching, like, fucking Werewolf in London or some shit, like, from the fucking 70s. Like, just, like, dude, computer graphics, CGI and fucking shit is way better than, like, whoever did this shit was just fucking, they was high that day. They and it wasn't off of shrooms, they was off some fucking weed. Because that shit was just fucking, like, it just looked bad. The little rock people was straight stolen from Frozen.
Bro, straight up. What is this Teenage Mutant Jawa Turtles? Like, what the fuck?
That shit was
Jawa Turtles.
That shit was fucking straight the straight rock people from fucking Frozen. Like, y'all just stole that shit right from Frozen. If they had started rolling, it would have been a fucking just
I was just waiting for the song. I was waiting for them to start singing.
Mm-hmm. So, but other than that, I mean, other than it being boring, the CGI was kind of just not good. I wish that they would have introduced Ezra a little bit more, like, just, like, fucking have Sabine when she was fighting the fucking them red dudes and was getting her ass whooped until she pulled out the lightsaber. Like, have Ezra jump in and save her. You know what I'm saying? Like, just introduce him better than him just standing up against the hut. Come on, it's fucking Ezra. Ezra's a fucking G. You know what I'm saying? Ezra's not no punk, man. This dude's really good with the Force. He's got all this time. He's been just fucking sitting back, surviving this, being on this planet with the Nightsisters and Thrawn and fucking the damn night fucking troopers and you know what I'm saying, like just all of that. Like he's had plenty of time to get way better. He's had time to focus on the Force. You know what I'm saying, and really tune in. Like I wonder if they could even use the fucking Force there because you know shit, we in a totally different galaxy. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good point.
So, you know, the Yuuzhan Vong can't use the fucking Force, and they're from a different galaxy. So, in Legends, but you know, it's just it's one of those things that just like it was overall. It was a good episode. It just was. They could have. I just think they could have put more into it, and you know, it might be this, and this is something me and Garrison was talking about a little bit before. After after episode 5. You know, this was a good episode, but you can't come out with something as good as episode 5. You got Darth Vader, fucking Hayden Christensen, Clone Wars, every fucking thing. And it come out with some boring ass fucking, like, dude, y'all know how many times I watched these episodes. I watched it 3 times. By the 3rd time, I wanted to fucking shoot myself in the face.
Would have been a fine follower if, like, the Thrawn parts, like, awesome. You guys know, like, I know a lot of the fans of us are getting annoyed because I haven't rated the episode super high. This episode with Thrawn, with the Nightsisters, with like all that side of it, I would rate it pretty high. But then you got all the scenes with Sabine. I'm not saying Sabine was the problem, but every scene with Sabine in it was just trash. So long, so boring, cheesy, stupid. We got the frozen rock people. Sabine, while most of the dialogue was better, Sabine's dialogue was stupid. She's chatting with the little wolf buddy, like the wolf can talk back to her. The fucking rock people, like I was just waiting for them to break out singing. Way longer than it needed to be, her looking for Ezra. Yeah, so like it was like half the episode, great. Like super good. And then the other half was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait till this is over. It was, yeah. Ahsoka also, I don't know. Like I thought Ahsoka had changed. Like Ahsoka was better and she was happier. And then this one, she's right back to being who she was before. Right back to being dry and dead.
I didn't get that. I got that she was happier and she was kind of. I think she was. It was just what she was discussing because I think it's really weighing on her heart.
Yeah, but you can discuss like sad things without just being like, bleh. Like she
I don't know. I didn't feel that way. I feel like she talked better than she did in the first 4 episodes. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was way more. And then, okay, there's this thing going around online that a long time ago is now officially canon. And I'm reading these fucking like articles on Reddit and fucking and Instagram and Twitter. I'm like, what the fuck are y'all talking about, man? It's in the fucking very first Star Wars ever, a long time ago, right, in a galaxy far, far away. Where the fuck they come in that this is finally canon? Like I was like, what the fuck? This is blowing my goddamn mind. Like, how the fuck do y'all saying this? Like, where have y'all been at? You know what I'm saying? Like. Right. Like, it might not ever been said in a canon story, but fuck, it's the beginning of the fucking movies. Like, it's the very beginning. That's what comes on. Like, how is this not canon? Like, yeah, it just, that kind of was bothering me too. But overall, the episode, like, I really like the fact that, you know, that the way Thrawn's interactions with Balin is. You know what I'm saying? I really like that. Thrawn's a dick, though. He's an asshole, because he's like, fuck that, we'll leave them all here. I don't give a fuck. We got to get the fuck out of here. We'll leave every single one of these motherfuckers here. I like that. I like the way that Thrawn is just...
He's ruthless. He's like, calculating everything.
Yeah. He's like, dude, we ain't taking no chances. Yeah. I like the Night Witches fucking the little... I guess they're map balls or whatever the fuck they are, and they float around. They capture Sabine, and
the witches' balls were cool.
Yeah, the witches' balls was cool. How they flew out, that shit was dope. The CGI and all that shit, the way it did it, and the way it looked and everything, that shit looked good as fuck. That shit was phenomenal. The dog thing was just like, what the fuck? Bro. And then like I don't know. Like, I definitely am not going to rate this fucking episode higher than I did the last episode. The last episode was fucking amazing. this episode, it was good. I love the dialogue because especially when Balin is talking about being a Jedi and how to cycle and how his object is to break the cycle.
Yeah. I loved hearing about Balin.
Yeah, and then it gave me that feeling. Like, okay, Balin is not a dark Jedi. Balin is not a Jedi. Yeah. Balin is really looking for a power in order to stop stop it all. Like, in all the fucking cycle, the fucking constant Jedi, Sith, all the bullshit, he's like, it's a never-ending cycle. I'm here to stop that cycle. That's my objective. And then, you know what I'm saying, like, when he was explaining to Hati, you know what I'm saying, when he's explaining to, I did get the Game of Thrones episode vibe off of this one. Well, like, the backgrounds, the fucking...
The thing is, half of it was captivating. Like I said, like the Thrawn parts, super captivating, super good, where I didn't think it was boring. It was the fucking Sabine parts, bro. Like her talking with her wolf, talking with the little rock people. Like she has this conversation with the fucking wolf thing. She's like, "You abandoned me. I should have known you were a coward." I'm like, "It's a fucking dog. Like, what did you expect?" Like,
it's supposed to understand.
Fucking, like, of course he's gonna run away, bro. Like. And she seems so butthurt about it. And I don't know. And her, like, trying to, like, do you know Ezra Bridger? Do you know Ezra Bridger? Bro, what the, went on for way too long.
I really can't say nothing.
Boring and stupid.
I really can't say nothing about that because, like, I have conversations with my dog. Like, last night, he kept leaving the yard. Like, he knows better. Since he's been a puppy, he knows you don't leave the grass. You stay in the grass.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But that's because it's the dog you've trained, you've known his whole life.
And, like, I have what I call a whooping stick. It's a piece of foam, like the foam shit wrapped around a plastic thing with some tape on it, so it makes noise when you hit them with it, and it's not really hurting them. Man, I'm yelling at him. He just looking at me like, what? I'm like, dude, what are you doing, man? Get your ass in the yard, man. Why are you out in the yard? I'm zapping him with the shot collar. Finally, I call him to me. He doesn't come. He just looks at me. So I had to go all the way out to the street, and then I had to beat him all the way to the front door with the whooping stick. And he's looking at me like I was being an asshole. Like, no, man, you're not listening. And so, and then we had a conversation like, you got to listen. You know what I'm saying? You got to listen. You know what I'm saying? If you don't listen to me, you're going to get hurt. I'm telling you not to go out there because you'll get hit by a fucking car. You know, somebody comes barreling down the street, hits you with a car, then I'm going to be fucking mad because my dog is dead. And I wasted all this time and money and investment and shit. Not only that, I love my dog, man. He's my dog. You know what I'm saying? But I do agree with you. Like, dude, you just met this dog 5 seconds ago.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
And it was totally unnecessary in the story. It was boring. It was long. There
was just really drawn out parts. But the good dialogue parts made up for it. It didn't like all the rest of the episodes, and I'll say this about all the rest of the episodes, they felt Star Wars to me. They felt like I was watching Star Wars. We had Ezra, we had Thrawn, we had Stormtroopers, we had Nightsisters, we had Sabine, we had, you know what I'm saying, we had all these characters that are very Star Wars, and this episode just didn't feel like Star Wars to me. It felt like I was watching something else. I was like, dude, what's going on, man? First time I watched it. For me,
and like I said, no, sorry, but like for me, half of this episode felt like Star Wars, and the other half felt like I'm watching a cartoon, like 5-year-old Dora the Explorer episode with the fucking rock frozen people and the dog. Like, oh my god,
I didn't get the Star Wars vibe. I just didn't.
Half this episode was so good.
I didn't get it. I didn't get the Star Wars. Like when Balin is talking about the Jedi, and you see the Stormtroopers, and you see Thrawn's talking with Morgan and the Nightsisters and stuff, and you know when Thrawn comes out and says that Balin Skoll, the Jedi general, Balin Skoll, and he was like, I'm not associated with the Jedi for a very long time. All of that shit was great. Like that felt like Star Wars. But then it went into like this other fucking thing that was like, what the fuck is this? And like I said, the way I watch these episodes now, the first time I watch it, I'm not paying attention to any of the bullshit or other than the dog thing, because my dog was the one that made me really notice it, because he was whining like, what the hell is wrong with this fucking dog? But I'm watching the episode. I just try to enjoy it. The second time I watch it, I go in and I look for the imperfections and I look for, you know what I'm saying, things that are happening. Like Garrison brought up before we got on the show, Garrison brought up like Sabine is slicing the shit out of these motherfuckers with these lightsabers. And it's just not even going through them.
Yeah,
it's not even cutting them. It's like, dude, I'm watching that. I'm like,
it would literally like just show sparks and then they'd fall, but there was no cuts. And I'm like, what?
Like it just looked very, very it was uncoordinated. Like it looked very uncoordinated. And I've been a proponent of all the lightsaber battles. You know, Garrison's been the one saying the lightsaber battles suck. I thought all the lightsaber battles was pretty good. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to classify them as fucking Obi-Wan and Anakin fucking lightsaber duels. But I'm like, dude, for a 50-year-old fucking Rosario Dawson to even be able to fucking do half the shit she's done in this shit has been fucking pretty good. Hayden Christensen's shit was looking pretty good. And he's fucking 50 years old. You know what I'm saying? When you look at that shit, they're doing pretty good for what they're fucking doing. Sabine shit, well, you know, she got to look kind of tacky. She can't be excellent at it because she's not a fucking Jedi. You know what I'm saying? She didn't finish her training, none of that shit. She ain't even fucking get from the way they making it sound, like she ain't even got partly through the shit.
Chris, that's not true. That's not true. Andor satisfied me, and half of this episode satisfied me.
But it was just, I don't know, it was just like, I don't know. It just felt weird. And like I said, and then the third time I watch it, I'm listening. Most of the time, third time I'm watching it, I'm listening for fucking, you know, Foley. I'm making sure that the lightsaber blasts are going through. Second time is usually visual things. Third time, music, lightsaber. The music in it was excellent. The music in all the episodes have been good. You know what I'm saying? But all the lightsaber, like the lightsaber, when the lightsaber hits, it makes a sound. You know what I'm saying? When a blaster goes off, the sound happens before, you know what I'm saying? Like sound travel, or the sound travels faster than the fucking the blast. That's just Star Wars. So you got to look for those things. You know what I'm saying? They're right. The keys. Make sure in people's mouths fucking match to their words. Because a lot of shit is ADR. Well, most of the fucking, nowadays, most everything is ADR. So you got to make sure that the lips is matching up with what they're saying. That's the type of stuff I'm looking for the third. By the third time I watched this shit, I wanted to put a gun in my mouth. I was like, this fucking goddamn, man.
It was
like,
so
Jesus.
agonizing.
I was just fucking, like, I was doing everything I could not to fall asleep. And it was like, I get to the dialogue part, and I'm like, all right, this is a good part. I'm looking at their mouths, and I'm listening, and I'm watching what's going on and everything, and I'm listening to the dialogue. Did they fuck up on their words? Did they misquote? Did they missay something? Did they stop out of where you could just tell it wasn't the time to stop? Everything was done good. But then you get to the part where, like, you know what I'm saying, the action was happening, or, you know what I'm saying, it was just like, dude, this is not, and literally, we had fucking 40 minutes of fucking talking and fucking 2 minutes of fucking, you know what I'm saying, action in this motherfucker. There was like no action in here at all. Like, break that shit up and make it at least 50-50. Like, you can't, like, I don't mind a dialogue or a dialogue-driven story, but you got to have enough in there to keep you, like, it has to be really good dialogue the whole time.
Even for me, like, I don't even need a lot of action. Like, Andor didn't have a lot of action, and I was totally fine during all of it. It was just, oh man, I don't know what it was, but every episode, every scene with Sabine was just, it dragged on, and there was nothing going on. I don't know whether, I mean, there just wasn't anything going on. We're just watching her walk around, talk with little rock creatures, and like, it was pointless.
I mean, and then, like, I just really wished, I mean, this is Star Wars. Let Ezra come in, and, you know, a lot of people talking about Efron or whatever his name is, the dude that, I mean, basically we got Aladdin playing as Ezra. But, you know what I'm saying, like, just let him come in like a hero should. You know what I'm saying? Let him come in and save Sabine when something bad happened, you know what I'm saying? Or anything. I mean, just for her to walk up and he just standing next to the thing and, you know, I knew you would come. Like, dude, come on, man. You could introduce somebody better than that. Now, Thrawn coming out was excellent. Walking through the fucking night troopers and, you know, all that. That was excellent. That was good.
That was dope. And Enoch,
That shit looked
bro,
really, really good.
I don't know what
mean,
it is. Enoch is fucking cool, bro. I like Enoch.
That shit was fucking dope. The way he walks out, the Chimera coming, flying in, and instead of like, you know what I'm saying, fucking docking somewhere, that motherfucker comes down on the temple thing in the little container compartment. That shit was fucking, all that shit was awesome as shit. I was like, dude, that's some of the dopest shit ever. But
it made me feel like, oh, this guy's like the heir to the Empire. They really did heir to the Empire justice. You know what I mean?
But
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
It just, I don't know. It didn't give me that, like, there was so many awesome parts, but then the dry parts just fucking beat it up so bad. It was just really hard to get invested in it because, you know, something good would happen and it would be something boring. Like, what the fuck? Is something going to happen here? Like, dude, like, and
it was
honestly my favorite part about the whole episode was when Thrawn comes walking down and when Balin's talking about being a Jedi and when
Agreed.
That was like my favorite parts.
100%. Those two parts, and the thing is, those two parts literally were so good, like really good.
I mean, it was just
and
it was
other
amazing.
Parts were just so bad.
It was just so amazing when he's talking about being a Jedi and when she's like, "Do you miss being a Jedi?" And he's like, "No." When he tells her, "You're better than that. You're better than her," and you know what I'm saying. Just the whole dialogue was just fucking on point, man. It was so good.
Yeah.
They made it match Rebels. I did get that. I did get that feeling like it was like the way it came in. The way everything's happening, you know, I really like the fucking new light speed fucking thing, the hyperspace effect. That shit was dope because that's something we ain't ever seen before. I really liked it the way it was swaying. It made you feel like it should. Like, dude, this is later on. Hyperspace is different, and you're traveling out of the galaxy.
Right.
You're traveling somebody new, so it might not look the same.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you're in a fucking whale's mouth. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like it's gonna look different. And the notice the detail there, it made it spectacular. And let's go through we haven't read none of the comments, so let's go back.
One thing I do want to say though is that in previous episodes, I know you don't like the term fan service, and maybe it wasn't fan service, but we can at least say we were banking a lot on nostalgia. Nostalgia was a big component of the other episodes. And this episode stood on its own. It didn't need to use nostalgia. It didn't need to dick ride previous things. It was its own episode. And it stood on its own two legs. And it had new ideas and a new story without relying too much on what's already happened. And so to me, it shows that like Disney can make its own story and it can be good. You know what I mean?
I agree with that. I agree because
that was like,
it is one, like if you just came in and you just watched this episode, you would be intrigued by the characters. You'd be intrigued by what's going on, and it would keep you wanting to watch it more.
Yeah.
Nielsen said, "I hated how the Night Mother said you wanted Thrawn to come to you. Ezra was found too soon. Needed another episode of story to find him."
Bro, if it was long enough.
If it was done right, I thought it was too goddamn long because it's like, dude, why do you just got these fucking like, dude? There's literally, and I timed this, 9 seconds between the time that Sabine left the scene before the dog walked back in the scene, that's our background right there. And I had plenty of time to get the background because that shit was 9 seconds. You don't need 9 seconds for the dog to fucking come walking into the scene. Like that shit was like, dude, why are you wasting 9 seconds on that shit? It slowed the pacing down. Honestly, the pacing of this was probably the worst pacing I've seen in any other Star Wars TV series. The pacing of this episode.
I'd probably go period. Like it was worse than the sequel. Like this is some of the worst pacing.
The pacing
just
was
with
terrible.
Sabine episodes, man. It was Sabine scenes, man. If you cut out all the Sabine and Ahsoka scenes, this episode would have been like an 8 or 9.
Star Wars team leader says, seen Ezra, and I was waiting for the Aladdin music to start. This felt like a classic GOT episode. Oh, yeah, I said something about that either. Chris said, this felt like a classic GOT episode, and there wasn't a lot of action, but the dialogue was captivating. It was, because it made you think about what the fuck was going on. Like, all right, man. And then I like the way they said, like, it kind of explains things. Like, now we know how Ezra and fucking and Thrawn survived. They explained it in this episode. The whales kept put a shield or something around the fucking ship because he says I was fucking oh man, what the hell is that shit called? What's the word? When you're like in prison or sent away. The fuck is that word?
Exiled.
Exiled, yeah.
Exiled.
So it's like the whales kept them fucking alive and took them there. Then the Nightsisters were exiled there. The 3 Night Mothers, or however many, the 3 that we seen, they were exiled by the Mother Talzin. And that came, I learned that because of one of the comic books. These are like the fucking worst Nightsisters out of all of them. These motherfuckers are gruesome. Chris says, it's a dog person thing. You get really pissed if they do something wrong, but less than a minute later, you're cuddling them. Yeah, that's true. Well, actually, I don't know. I locked his ass in a fucking kennel for like an hour because I was fucking pissed. Like, I don't hit my dogs. That's the thing. Like, I hit them with the fucking shock collar, and I don't even usually hit them with the shocker. I hit them with the vibrator thing, and they listen. I don't know what the fuck he was doing yesterday. He was just being an asshole. Let's be honest. Nothing satisfies Garrison. Yeah, we covered that. Enoch reminds me of the Gladiator champion mask from Gladiators.
Bro, Enoch was sick. I liked it.
Yeah, that dude was dope. Love how the ship was still fucked up. Yep, I like that. They made it match Rebels. Yeah, there was a lot of great components to this, but then there was some stuff that was just fucking like. And I don't know, like I said, I might be fucking because I'm comparing it to the last episode, and I love the last episode so much. Because the last episode just had everything to me. It just had, overall, It was just a fucking perfect fucking episode. Like, well, not nothing perfect, but, you know what I'm saying? And trying to compare it, and my biggest fear is we get, next episode is going to be like this episode, and it's going to be boring, and hopefully they come out with something fucking spectacular at the end. But I would rather, like, dude, your first 4 episodes was pretty dry. You know what I'm saying?
Well, my thing is, like, honestly, if you cut out those boring parts in this episode, I would rank this episode higher than the last one. Like, with the Thrawn and with Balin. I don't know. That's just, I honestly thought it was that good. Like, the dialogue and the new stories they're talking about and how they're finally talking about Balin's backstory and Thrawn's plan and what Balin's goals are. Like, I would rank it higher than the last episode. But then you had all the other stuff come in and it was, oh, man.
I mean, I'm still ranking it fairly high because of the good stuff. The good stuff outweighed the bad stuff. It was the pacing. It was boring. Like, even with the good stuff, it was fucking boring. Like, dude, is this fucking episode ever going to be, like, how long is this episode? Like, I have never looked up some Star Wars, not even Kenobi, and said, when is this going to be fucking over? How long is this shit? Like, I'd rather go do something else.
That's how boring some of the scenes were. I agree.
Like, it was just, the pacing was just off. And honestly, if they would have cut out, like, fucking 2 seconds or cut out 7 seconds of the stupid dog walking and the rock people, like, he pointed at the thing, she says, you know, Ezra, he says, yeah, and they fucking walk off. You know what I'm saying? All the other fucking rock people getting up and all that other shit, and then fucking walking for 10 minutes to get to fucking Ezra. You know what I'm saying? If they'd have cut out all that other, just the parts that killed the pacing. Like, I can't even deal with the Sabine fighting the dudes. I can deal with, you know, you could leave that in there. That didn't really mess up the pacing. It was just like them 2 parts, really. And then at the very end where fucking Ezra and her is talking, like, y'all could have cut a lot of that dialogue out of there because it was just pointless.
Right.
That and cut that bitch down to 30 minutes, it would have been a fucking great episode. It would have been fucking really good. They just had the pacing fucked up, like, everything. It fucked up all the good parts. And then that stupid CGI dog that they did. It just fucking like when it's walking. Like why? There's one scene that I had to rewind about 5 or 6 times, and then I had to put it over in fucking Adobe, and check it. But both his front legs move at the same time. He's walking with one leg, but they go. It's wonky. I was like, what the fuck? He just walking. Why would he use? He wasn't about to run or anything. He just like, dude, y'all didn't catch that. Like this, I don't know. Like all the rest of the episodes, I give the editor fucking 100. This episode, you get like a fucking 50. It was fucking terrible.
Well, okay, so how about we do ratings, and then there's a couple things about the episode that I want to talk about. I want to talk about Baylan, and about what his plan is, and about like that whole thing. I want to talk about Baylan, and then I want to talk about Thrawn a little bit.
Okay, so let's
what the plans are.
All right, first let's go through the thing. Clint's in the chat. What's going on, Clint? Man, we watched completely different shows. I'm giving this episode an 8.5. I'm not giving the episode a bad episode. I'm not saying that I don't like the episode. I like the episode. It just, the pacing was just off. And there was just little bitty fucking shit that just bothered the shit out of me. I would probably give this episode, I don't think I would go as high as an 8. Just
Bro,
because,
that's pretty generous.
I'd probably go 7.5 on this episode. That's where I would stick it on this episode, because it just lacked too many. The pacing was just too off, and like the CGI and the like. Don't bring the hero in just whack, man. Like, don't do that. Like, you got to bring the hero. Like, Ezra's the fucking hero. I know Ahsoka is the fucking hero, so Ahsoka's a person about the show. But you got to set back. They only had Ahsoka. It kind of reminded me of Book of Boba Fett when you got Boba Fett in the fucking episode for 12 seconds. And then the whole rest of the episode, they ain't in the episode. Like, why would you do that? We need more Ahsoka. I want to see Ahsoka. I didn't come here to watch fucking... And then when you do introduce a real another hero, like Ezra, somebody that fought fucking Palpatine and didn't die. You know what I'm saying? I know it was in the fucking weird ass world between worlds or whatever, however the fuck the shit was. But you know what I'm saying? And you're just gonna introduce him with him standing up against a fucking wall and say, "Hey, Sabine," like, oh man, come on now. Like, make him come in like when she's fighting somebody or something bad was happening, and he comes in and saves her. That would have just been more exciting. It would have made more sense to the character and the story.
I agree.
So, like I said, there was just a few things that just bothered me. I mean, it wasn't enough to make the episode bad, because the good things were fucking great. You know what I'm saying? Like the good things were good. You know what I'm saying? The Baylan stuff, and we're about to talk about that now. The Baylan stuff and the Thrawn stuff.
Oh man.
Okay, let's
There's
get to
shit
it.
to talk about. All right. So my rating, and this is like you said, it's hard. If we're talking about if you take out all the scenes with Sabine and Ahsoka, I'd give this an 8. Now the scenes with Sabine and Ahsoka, I give it like a 3, dude.
A fucking 3.
Bro, it was bad. It was that boring. Bro, watching Sabine with the fucking rock people, and oh my God, it was so boring, so long. So split in the middle, that's like a 5.5. Not that bad. So I'll bump it up. I'll say 6.5.
I don't know. I thought the good parts was way better than the bad parts. It like, I'm not giving it a fucking 8 or nothing like that, but like a 7.5 just because the fucking dialogue was so good.
I feel like that's
I was
fair.
excited about the dialogue.
The good parts were an 8. The bad parts were 3. You average that out, that's a 5.5. The good overweighed the bad, so 6.5.
Okay.
That's how my mind works.
All right. Okay, the Baylan shit.
But now, overall, it was still good. But yeah, Baylan shit. Sorry, continue.
Baylan talking with Thrawn, and then once they go out to hunt down Sabine and Ezra, when he's sitting there talking about being a Jedi, and he's sitting there talking about, you know, the cycle of the Sith and the Jedi, and them getting
great
into
point, by the way, because that's literally all of Star Wars, even Legends.
Is like the way that he is looking to, like, he's He's not a Jedi. He's not a Sith. He's not
and
even a
his
dark
goals,
Jedi.
Yeah, his goals
He's
are
like
something
looking
we
for
haven't seen
power in
before.
order to end the cycle.
Yeah,
And I think, I don't know, that's a good way
I really like him, dude.
to strike up a new era of Star Wars. It really is.
Yeah.
Because if we got the Jedi fighting against somebody that's not a Sith, that's not a dark Jedi, there's somebody that's trying to really bring balance to the Force. He's really trying to wipe out Jedi, wipe out the Sith, wipe out all that bullshit, and like end the cycle. It shows an integrity that is beyond what we have seen in Star Wars. And it could lead to something that could be fucking really, really, really good. Now, do they follow that and go through that? Probably not, because this happens in between the sequels. They're all dead by the time the fucking sequels happen.
Yeah, he's gonna die.
But something that you said earlier that kind of struck my attention was when Thrawn talks about leaving them there. And I'll let you explain it to everybody, because what you think is going to happen.
Thinking, like, Thrawn already said how, it doesn't matter. Like, Thrawn's using them as a pawn, which totally makes sense for Thrawn. He's okay with leaving them there. So that kind of leads me to believe that Baylan might join forces with, like, Ahsoka or Sabine against Thrawn.
I mean, that's definitely a possibility. But then, like, I don't know.
Or at least, I don't think they'll be on the same team, but they'll work together towards a common enemy. Because we even heard Baylan say, the enemy of our enemy is our friend, right?
Yeah.
So I could see him use that in the same exact context when obviously
they're
Thrawn
all stuck on this
fucking
fucking planet.
Yeah. And so he'll be enemy of our enemy is our friend.
Because you got to think about it. The only reason that they had to use the map in the beginning is because they had to get the coordinates to get there. All right. So you got to think about it. If Ahsoka shows up, even though they was inside the well, the ship should be tracking their projection. So they will be able to get back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because they can just use hyperspace and get back. The only reason they couldn't use hyperspace to get there because they didn't know where they were going. You got to have a hyperspace lane.
Right.
So if you have a hyperspace lane, and I'm pretty sure Hing Yong or whatever, however you say his name, is fucking. The ship is recording their trajectory, so they'll be able to get back. And if they're able to get back, or they just talk to the whales and the whales bring them back. If they get back, then, you know what I'm saying, that will lead into season 2. But that's the only way that they'll be able to escape. Baylan isn't going to be able to fight against Ahsoka if Thrawn and them leave him there and be able to get back. He needs her at that point. The only question I have is Hati is like, I don't know. She just seems like she's more evil than Baylan. She seems like, and he's been training her to be a little bit evil, but I think she might be the one that, you know what I'm saying, causes an issue.
There's going to be more tension between those two.
And that was, hey, you can't tell me you didn't catch that the intense moment when fucking they bring Sabine out and they're looking at each other like, bitch, I'm gonna fuck you up. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yeah, cat fight, go ahead, get at it.
Right. But so Baylan's talking about like breaking the cycle, right? Which is super interesting. What does that look like? What does that mean?
Well, I mean, that could go into, because then, so, okay. The Jedi, in which Ahsoka's pretty much now become a Jedi. And that's kind of what, I think that's kind of what the whole transformation in the last episode was showing, that her accepting her fate that she's a Jedi. And she has a Padawan, which I would pick a way better Padawan than Sabine.
Sabine's
but, you know,
trash. That was one thing. The Nightsisters were like, "Oh, I smell Jedi," or "It reeks of Jedi." She's not even force sensitive. How the fuck? What are you talking about?
You see her trying to move the rock in the cell.
Like, she can't move shit.
You can't even move a fucking coffee cup. How the fuck you gonna move a goddamn brick wall? But it gave me, like, I don't know. I could see the battle becoming like, it's not against darkness or light. The Jedi is automatically going to say that it's darkness. He is truly looking for balance, like in the cycle. True balance. Like, no more Sith, no more Jedi, no more fighting each fucking other. And he's looking for a power because he knows he's not strong enough to do it by himself. Like, you know what I'm saying? And
right.
I'm not saying that that's what he said, but that's kind of what was implied. He was like, don't you feel the power? Can't you sense something coming? Which is actually Force Awakens shit, which we know will never happen. All these characters will be dead by the time that shit comes. But it gives you, I mean, it really leads to a fucking point where Disney could take Star Wars in a different direction. Chris says, do you think at the end when Thrawn asked the Night Mothers to use their dark magic, you think that means they are getting Nightsisters zombies next episode? That mentioned somewhere about the catacombs. I think all the stormtroopers are zombies or fucking like Merrick. There's some type of fucking like magic demons. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of what was implied. You know what I'm saying? Like, because the stormtroopers, they got all of their armors is cracked and changed and patched together, and you know what I'm saying, they're all dirty looking and shit.
They were all dirty.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I think I have a feeling.
Dude, I hope not. That'd be kind of lame.
Well, that was what Merrick was. So you got to figure, if there wasn't all the stormtroopers was off the ship when Ezra and Thrawn took off. You know what I'm saying? So I'm guessing that these fuckers are all like Merrick, or they're zombies. They're like dead people from the planet, you know what I'm saying? And they were all reanimated by the night witches.
I mean, I guess it makes sense. They are called night troopers, so.
Yeah, they're called night troopers. So,
I don't know. I still don't like the whole zombie thing in Star Wars. It's just weird, dude.
You know, you got to look at it like this too. Zombies is really popular right now, so it just makes sense for Disney to, because fucking that Daryl show of the new fucking Walking Dead Daryl show, that was like the #1 watched show in fucking the world because of how big fucking Walking Dead was.
Walking Dead was, yeah.
So I could see them, you know what I'm saying? It makes sense. Darth Arm said, "What's up, everybody? The Calgary for work internet is spotty. Binge watching my download of 1 through 6. 7.5 my rating. Catch cast on the playback. Y'all have a great night." Star Wars team leader said, "Yeah, they all have a part of the Nightsisters robbing tied to them on their armor. Zombies is all in Star Wars. You know, there's just a lot of things that are going on within this, and we gotta also understand we're in a fucking totally new world. You know what I'm saying? This is the first time
Right.
this world has ever been fucking. We're in a totally new universe, and like you said earlier, they showed that they can write a fucking, or that they can do a story that's based something completely different than anything that they've done before, and it can be good. And it's not relying on, like, Thrawn was a character within the story. It wasn't like it was based on Thrawn, or
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
all the characters.
They didn't have to ride off of stuff that we've already seen before.
Yeah, like
they
Ezra
didn't
and
have
Thrawn.
to.
It was just.
Yeah,
it was.
It could
very
carry
fucking,
its own weight. It could carry its own weight.
And you know what I'm saying? It played out very well. It just, you know, and I think that, you know, Thrawn's like, fuck it, I'm getting out of here. I don't give a fuck. We leave all these fuckers behind. Put the shit out of the catacombs. I think one of the things out of the catacombs that was in here to the Empire that they might put is the fucking thing, whatever the fucking animals that can repel the Force. because he has that in here to the Empire. So I think that that's something that's going to be brought into, you know what I'm saying, the reason Thrawn's still alive and Ezra hasn't killed him yet. You know what I'm saying? Because they can't use the Force against him.
Yeah, maybe
and
something
then
like
you
that.
have to
but
deal
I think,
with the Nightsisters. You have to deal with the thing. And fucking Ezra don't have a lightsaber.
No, I think it's something. I think one, Ezra's outnumbered, and so he's just playing it safe. But I think it's more interesting why Thrawn hasn't killed Ezra.
I don't think he. Well, like Ezra says, that's anything.
No, they know where he is because look, that's how Sabine tracked him down.
No, well, Sabine was using her thing.
I know.
That was,
well, she was
using her thing. Then it broke. Then the dog smelt it. Smelt the fucking rock people.
The Empire had the resources to track him down because the Empire is because they gave her, hey, this is where we think he is, and that's where she set off. I think the Empire or Thrawn or whatever had the resources to track him down.
Ezra says it at the end of the episode. He said we have to move a lot.
Right, but I
think that they're constantly.
They could have tracked him down if they tried. Is what I mean.
I don't know.
I just don't think they tried that hard.
I don't think they did either. I think Thrawn's been just trying to rebuild his forces, rebuild his fucking shit up in order to make the trip back. And he's been using the Nightsisters because Thrawn is a manipulator. That's what he does. He manipulates everybody. And he's very, very smart and he's a tactician. So he's going to use whatever he can in order to gain to achieve his goal. And I think, you know, he's been using the Nightsisters because they said in the thing, he said, the Night Sister, the Night Mothers or whatever they're called, they said that they sent the beacon out to her. So now we know where the map came from. That was the beacon, the map being sent out, some type of fucking telepathy or some shit for them contacting her and letting her know where to you know what I'm saying, where to get the information or whatever the situation may be. It was implied. So when you really look at it and you really break it down, Thrawn is there for sole purpose of fucking getting all of them out of there. Now, whatever's in these catacombs is going to be the stuff that, you know what I'm saying, is important. Like maybe the lemurs or whatever the fuck they're called that he uses to fucking repel the first. Maybe that's an animal or fucking, because were they alive in fucking here to the Empire? I don't remember. They might have been dead and he just wore the fucking pelt around the neck or some shit. But you know what I'm saying? No, I think they were alive. But they might be the stuff that is important and the magic stuff that the Night Mothers need in order to keep on serving Thrawn. He's, like he said, I need your magic once again. You know what I'm saying? So, and especially now that Ahsoka's on the way. But we also got to look like we didn't see no Force abilities out of anybody. So can they use the Force?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I think they're in this like stalemate because Thrawn talks a lot about how like don't underestimate Jedi in this episode. So I think like they have the resources to find Ezra. You know what I mean? They have a fucking like Star Destroyer. I'm sure they have drones. Like I mean, she found him pretty fucking easily. They could have found him if they tried.
Could have ride them fucking dogs.
Yeah. So part of me thinks Thrawn is almost like scared to find Ezra. And Ezra hasn't attacked Thrawn because maybe the Force is different. I think they're in a standoff where they're both a little bit scared to confront the other.
Yeah.
At least that's what I think.
I can't even say that fucking name. Yeah, Lirmo is the name of the animal that can repel the Force. I think a lot of the stuff that's coming out of the catacombs and shit is stuff that like the Nightsisters need, stuff that Thrawn's found on his planet. You know what I'm saying? It can help him and aid him in his ability to come back and reunite the fucking Empire and get things going. The Star Destroyer could have found them easy. Yep, yeah, that's true. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but I think, I don't know. It's just until next episode and they explain a little bit more. We're at a point that is very intriguing on what's happening right now. It's like, okay. Definitely. And it's very exciting because we're getting to see all new shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it might be the same character, but we on a new planet. We got new Nightsisters. All the Nightsisters except Morgan was supposed to be dead. And as you see, I don't know how she's a Nightsister, and all the Nightsisters look more like, they're fucking gray and shit. She's human.
Right.
So I think she might have been adopted into the fucking Nightsisters. They're Dathomirians, they're fucking Dathomir, even fucking like all the men were like orange and fucking red and shit. I don't know. It just, I think that there could be, I'm just very intrigued on what's going to happen. I think there's something really, really amazing is going on, and I love the way that Dave is leading us on. Like, this is the first time in a while that I feel like I'm being led down a path to find out something important. Most of the time, like, fuck, I've been so wrong on this fucking thing that it's blowing my goddamn mind here. Usually I'm pretty good at predicting the things that's going to happen. I've been fucked. That shit's been like damn near every episode.
Honestly,
I've been wrong.
Story-wise, this has been my favorite. Because it's actually given us a new story. It's actually giving us insight into some of these characters. It's actually giving me stuff to think about and talk about. Everything else so far has been, oh, that's exciting. Oh, that's cool. Oh, we get to see this character again. This is like, things are starting to get serious, at least, I think. Yeah. In this episode.
This was definitely a more serious episode. It wasn't it was, there was a lot of character,
insight,
I wouldn't say development,
background.
I'd say.
Insight and background.
And honestly, I'm super intrigued about Baylan. I want to know more about Baylan.
I love Baylan so much right now.
Because, I don't know, man, he just doesn't, like his ideas and the way he carries himself is way different than what we're used to seeing. Like, he has more of like the fucking, like, you would look at him more like, a Qui-Gon type of person. Like, we're just going to let the Force figure that shit out. You know what I'm saying?
Like a bad Qui-Gon, yeah.
He got that fucking, like, a different attitude than what we're used to seeing from the Sith or from the Jedi. He got his, like, own, like, makeup, and it's really intriguing. I want to know more about him. I want to know more about, you know what I'm saying? Like, where was he at when the Jedi fell? Like, how did he survive Order 66? I would love to know that. Like, what happened? Like, I would love to know that. I want, like, did his troopers turn on him and he was like, hey, hold up, motherfucker, I'm joining y'all. What's going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, I mean, did he use his force ability of manipulation?
I agree, Nelson. I think Shin will start to see Baylan as weak and that she'll turn on him. In some way.
I want to know what the fuck is on this planet.
Well, but the thing is, I don't think it's him being weak. It's just his strategy. And I think she will view that as weakness.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. I don't know if we'll see that because I've been wrong about every fucking thing else.
That's
but
true. That's true.
Like, because every fucking thing I predicted for the next episode, for every episode that we've done, I've been fucking wrong on. Like, every fucking episode. Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm never this fucking wrong when it comes to Star Wars or Dave and fucking, just Star
Either
Wars.
Either way, Baylan's dead.
Except for the sequel trilogies, and I didn't even try to figure that shit out. It was just stupid. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm pretty good at usually figuring out what's going to happen in the next episode. But this has kept me on my fucking toes. I've been wrong like a motherfucker.
I agree with Nelson, but that I was making that call back in the first two episodes. So
she just seems like she's evil. She seems like a Sith.
Yeah.
He seems more like, I don't know. I don't even know, because it's hard to even call him a dark Jedi.
Well, because it's like you got like what?
Because a dark Jedi is just basically a Sith that hasn't called himself a Sith. You know what I'm saying?
No, but the scale you have like lawful good, neutral good, chaotic good, and then you got lawful evil, neutral evil, chaotic evil. He seems like a neutral evil, or or even like a chaotic good. You know what I mean? Like somewhere in that middle where like he's not fucking Sith and he's not fucking Jedi, but he's willing to do evil things for his goal. But his goal in and of itself isn't necessarily evil.
No, and when he says it, he's like, dude, I want to end this cycle. This cycle must end. That fucking makes sense. Like, if you're really, and that would be a good thing for the entire galaxy. Because then you wouldn't have these fucking wars
right.
over fucking stupid shit. But this is my thing. You can't ever end that shit because people have force abilities.
Right.
The force is in everybody. So with having a force, some people are going to go to the light. Some people are going to go to the dark. Some people are just going to stay neutral. You know what I'm saying? It depends on the person. It depends on their background, on the things that they went through in their life, on whether they go dark or light or... You know what I'm saying? You don't necessarily, if you're a good person, you're probably going to be more like a Jedi. If you're a fucking bad person, you're probably going to be more like a Sith. I mean, that's just the way it is. You're never going to, the cycle can't end unless you can do something to get rid of the Force.
Right.
And
I just want to know what stopping the cycle looks like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't think we're ever going to see that because we know we're not going to get to see that. Just a fallen Jedi, how just don't care for either side and got his own goals. That's basically what he is. He's just like, all right, man, that shit with the Jedi didn't work out. I'm not fucking evil, so I don't fucking want to do evil shit. But at the same time, I'm gonna do whatever I got to do to achieve this goal of fucking like getting rid of everything. I just don't know how I mean, you can't do it. So it's like he's almost like fucking crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because he should know better than know that you can't you'd have to get rid of the Force. You know what I'm saying? You'd have to get rid of all the midichlorians. You'd basically have to destroy the entire galaxy in order to fucking achieve his fucking goal. So it's kind of like he's almost crazy because his goal is unachievable. But for some reason, he thinks that he can achieve this goal. And he's willing to do whatever it takes to bring balance.
Unachievable, bro. We've already seen people fucking come back from the dead. We just got to a new galaxy. Like,
but you have to get rid of
doesn't sound
the Force
so
binds
unachievable.
the galaxy together. You know what I'm saying? If you get rid of the Force, the galaxy ain't binding together no more.
But you even heard it. He's like, there's a different power here. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
but I don't give a fuck what kind of power it is. It can't get rid of the Force.
bro, if you're fucking vitiate, what if that power turns you into vitiate? That's pretty fucking powerful. You could end the cycle
but Vitiate
right there,
couldn't even get rid of the fucking Force. He just fucking sucked the Force out of everybody else and lived forever. Like, I don't know. It's an unattainable goal, and I think that's what makes him crazy. You can't get rid of the Force. There's no way around it. So people are going to go to the dark. People are going to go to the light, and then you have, you know what I'm saying. So the cycle will always continue. You're gonna have good people and bad people. As long as they're good and bad people, and then you have abilities to use the Force. You know what I'm saying. And as we see, that shit doesn't happen. And then you still got to deal with fucking Palpatine. Palpatine is still out there. We know that.
Well, but nobody else knows that because somehow
you know what I'm saying. So even if you got to the point where you was at a point where you might get close to achieving your goal, Palpatine gonna stop you because he ain't giving up his fucking power.
Do you think Thrawn knows that Palpatine's still out there or no?
I don't know. I was thinking about that yesterday. I was like, I wonder if fucking Thrawn knows. Well, Thrawn don't know that Palpatine is dead yet. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, true. Bro, Thrawn's so lost right now.
Like, he gonna come back like, what do you mean Palpatine's dead? And which is crazy because only reason fucking Thrawn is fucking a part of the Empire is because he made a pact with Palpatine that the Empire would never attack Chiss space.
Bro,
he protected his fucking
know,
people.
Like,
so
Thrawn's gotta know.
Like, if fucking Palpatine is dead, I wouldn't even know what the fucking if I was Thrawn, I'd be like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? Well, he can't go back to the Chiss because the Chiss exiled him. But like, why would you restart the Empire again? Like, I never got that. It's fucking pointless. Palpatine is dead. Your debt to him is gone. You know what I'm saying? The fucking Empire is gone, so you ain't got to worry about the Empire attacking the Chiss. So like, I don't know. Well, how Nielsen said Thrawn knows it. How does Thrawn know? They've been stuck on this fucking planet. Well, that's the fucking Nightsisters. Within the Nightsisters, the Night Mother witches, they should know that Palpatine is not really dead. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good point. That's true.
So, like, what's up, J-Dog? Like, I really don't know. Like, at this point, they've been stuck on this fucking planet. They don't know that Palpatine's dead.
I think Nelson means Thrawn knows that Palpatine's alive. Like,
Yeah,
even
he
if
might know.
Palpatine dies, like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like Thrawn is close enough or high enough that he would have some kind of like knowledge of the whole master plan. But maybe I'm wrong.
And we won't know until the at least the season plays out, or maybe even season 2, because
Might be
the way
the
they
movie,
leading up to
bro.
this, the way they leading up to it, and the fan response to this, I can guarantee you we're getting a season 2 out of this. Now it might be a while before we get season 2 because everybody's on fucking strike.
I don't know.
Now they're already.
They
I was
might-
just reading in the news thing that they're talking about fucking that all the fucking movies and all the movies and everything's getting pushed back dates. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna be dead before I even get to see the movie. And I think one of them's 2020 or 2035 now is getting pushed back. They're estimated 2035. I'm like, dude, fuck, that's fucking 10 years from now. I'll be fucking old as shit and decrepit from MS. Like, dude, y'all got to do this faster. You got to pop out some shit faster than that. But I don't know. It's just it's very interesting. Like like I said before, this is intriguing. I am intrigued. I want to know what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? And it's been a long while. The last time I really felt like this intrigued about Star Wars was with The Mandalorian, because we didn't know what to expect. It was brand new. We didn't know where it was going. We didn't know what was going to happen.
Andor was good. Shut up.
Andor, but it
intriguing.
wasn't intriguing like that because we know what's going to happen with Andor. I mean, in all general, we know.
Well,
it's
we already
leading
know
to
what's going to happen here.
Yeah,
we
but
already
we
know
don't
what's going to
know.
happen here. Everybody's going to die.
Yeah, but we don't have no idea of how that happens. We know how it happens because we've seen Rogue One.
No idea how it happened in Andor.
Yeah, we know exactly how it happens because Andor's leading us right up to the very start of Rogue One. So we know how the ending. We already got the ending. You know what I'm saying? So it's not intriguing. We don't know how the fuck, like, what happens. Like, how does a Force Order start? Where does fucking, you know what I'm saying, Snoke come from? How does he get introduced? You know what I'm saying? When does Ben and fucking Luke fucking go to battle? We don't know any of this shit. Like, and that all of this shit's supposed to be leading up to tell us the story to lead. All of this stuff, including the movie, is supposed to lead us up right to the Force Awakens. That's what it's supposed to lead us up to. So we don't know how any of this shit happens. We just know it's going to lead us up to Force Awakens. None of them people are in Force Awakens. The fucking First Order is basically running havoc on the fucking galaxy, and we got a whole bunch of new characters that they implies all these characters are dead because not even all the characters, because we know we see the ghost in the last battle in the Last Jedi, or not the Last Jedi, but the Rise of Skywalker. We see the ghost, you know what I'm saying? So we know that some of them are still alive, but like Ahsoka's not there. You know what I'm saying? Ezra's not there to fight. You know, Sabine ain't there to fight that we see. So, you know what I'm saying? But they could be all on the ghost with the hair fighting, you know what I'm saying, in the sky. They could be in ships fighting, and it was up to Rey to do it. We don't know until it brings us to that point. We're just speculating that they're dead because we don't see none of them in the movies.
One thing because like we might not have a season 2. I know, like, with how the fans have received it, yeah, they'll want one. But like, who's the bad guy in the big movie that everyone? Because we're gonna have some kind of Avengers movie with like flipping Mando, Ahsoka, like everybody's gonna get together. Big Avengers movie. I'm assuming the bad guy's gonna be Thrawn.
Yeah,
so
Thrawn will be the bad guy.
Yeah,
I can almost guarantee it's going to be. Well, it's going to be Thrawn or Snoke. That's going to be the fucking bad guy. And then we'll probably get more Kylo Ren. Like because at this point, you know what I'm saying? Because that's where it starts.
How are you going to have a season 2? What's season 2 going to be about?
Well, they got we still got Skeleton Crew. We don't know what other episode or what other stuff that they're coming out.
I don't think we're gonna have an Ahsoka season 2. I
guarantee we're gonna
have these other episodes. I think we're gonna have these other shows and then the big movie.
I guarantee we're getting an Ahsoka season 2. I guarantee that, because it's just the fan response to this and where it can lead to. They got to tie in. they still gotta tie in a lot of stuff. Ahsoka's been a tie-in with Mandalorian, with Book of Boba Fett, with Luke being there. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of stories still left to tell. There's still a lot of story. Like, why does Luke go into hiding after, you know what I'm saying? After,
I guess
how does all this shit happen?
There will be a season 2. There will be a season 2.
I bet you there will be a season 2 and a season 3 and maybe a season 4. I have a feeling that because we still got another season of Mando coming out, which they're talking about a movie, but I don't think it's going to be a movie. I don't see it being a movie. But I know we got season 4 of Mando coming out. We got season 3 of the Bad Batch. They got to be tied in live action. You know what I'm saying? The Bad Batch got to be tied in live action because all of these characters are going to have to be in the movie that brings us to the thing. I'm pretty sure in the movie we're gonna have Snoke because Snoke got to come. We got Snoke and Kylo Ren are going to be there. Right. I have a feeling that Thrawn's going to be there in this movie because they got to tie everything together. So that means it has to overlap with
I think you're right. I think now that I think about it, I think there definitely will be a season 2 because you still have to tell the story of Sabine, like learning to become a Jedi, because they're still going to go at least something. We're going to have more Sabine training. We're going to have, I guess that's fair. There's definitely.
I guarantee there's going to be a season 2 and maybe a season 3.
My bad.
You know
You're right.
And then you got Skeleton Crew. You got whatever else is coming, other TV show that they put out. You still got the Bad Batch needs to be introduced. You got all this stuff that needs to go on before the movie ever happens to lead us up to the movie. The movie is going to be right before it's going to happen, like the big battle right before that shows us how the First Order becomes into power. That means we're going to have to see Snoke. We're going to have to see Kylo Ren. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of stuff that got to go on. Plus, there's been a lot of stuff about what's the dude that plays Ben or Kylo Ren. There's been a lot of stuff going on, a lot of talks about him being on, so you know they bringing him back. There's been a lot of news about Finn. He's saying that he might come back, or they haven't asked him yet, or you know all that dumb shit that they usually do. A lot of that stuff goes on, and we know for the track record that that's how they always say they ain't doing some shit, and then they're in the next shit. So I see that shit happening, and they got to tie it in all together. And when they do, and I just don't know because Harrison Ford said he's not coming back. So unless they show a younger Han Solo, which I don't know how that's going to work, or get another character or CGI him or whatever they do, they got to bring back fucking Luke Skywalker and they got to bring back Leia because this is all tying in.
Right.
But guys, Harrison got to get off of here. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I want to say thanks to everybody for coming on and you know what I'm saying, just chilling with us and talking about this. Let other people know, you know what I'm saying, they can check out LightSaber Radio every Wednesday and every Saturday because we're going to be here talking about something. And next weekend, we got the episode and we got the watch party. Return of the Jedi watch party on Sunday. Boy. So we got that going on Sunday. Right? Yeah, this Sunday.
This Sunday. Yeah.
That's what I said, next Sunday, the one coming up.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Heck yeah.
So we're going to be doing that on Sunday. And till Saturday, everybody have a great rest of the week. Stay outrageous, and may the force be with you always.
Thank you for tuning in to LSR. If you've enjoyed the show, consider subscribing so you can be notified when new episodes are released. If you would like to be a guest on the show or just want to give us some feedback, feel free to email us. You can also reach out to us on all major social media platforms. LightSaber Radio is produced by PicFilm Media and is a Swaycast original, starring Garrison Turcotte, CJ Elliott, and Kyle McDaniel. And don't forget to join us next time for more adventures in a galaxy far, far away.